All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another post-game live edition of Domandgon Sports Talk, the show. We not only talk about everything Baltimore Ravens, but around the NFL. And tonight, we're going to be breaking down the Ravens' Week 2 loss, 26-23, to the Las Vegas Raiders in our home opener. And Dom, to start out, I'm Gonz, by the way. That's Dom. We'll be breaking it down for you. It's just, I don't know. Where do we start, Dom? What are your instant thoughts before I give you mine?
This team is absolute atrocity right now. I can't even. There are worries at each phase of the ball, and it's very, very, very concerning at this point. Offensively, I mean, oh shoot, are you able to hear me? Are you picking me
Yep.
up?
Yep.
Oh, somebody was
I
in the
hear you.
chat saying somebody in the chat saying, "Are we muted?"
You
I'm just
muted?
trying to make sure that we can. Yeah, I don't know.
I hear you fine.
Hmm.
Can you hear me
I don't know.
okay?
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you fine. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe back out and come back in.
Okay. Yeah, let's give it a shot. We're
No.
gonna exit out.
Them. That
Oh,
person,
sound is back.
not us.
Oh, sound is back. Okay. Camille's saying sound
Okay.
is back, so it looks like we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, this team is an absolute atrocity. In each phase of the ball, and it's very concerning. Offense couldn't block a kindergarten child going to recess on a Monday afternoon. It was bad on that front. Max Crosby was looking like a 7-Eleven out there because he was open to get to Lamar all freaking game. So that's ridiculous. There was no cohesiveness in the offense. It's like we wanted to be on momentum, and then we wanted to sell. So I don't really know what they wanted to be today, but it wasn't a good team because offensively we were not. Then you get to the defensive side of the ball. You hold them to freaking under 100 yards in the first half. And then in the second half, they go on a spree and drop 200 on us. Devontae Adams, 100 yards on our head top. Brock Bowers looked like Kelsey Jr. Like, it was bad for pass defense. Like, I don't know what we're doing on that front. We got cooked. And then on top of that, special teams, Tucker looks retired, and freaking Jordan Stout wants to do a terrible punt to midfield. I don't even know, was there wing today? Harbaugh looks like Joe Biden on a good day. Like, I don't even know what we are doing out there. We look like a terrible team. This was by far an organizational dysfunctional failure from top to bottom. There was no excuse, none, to lose this football game when you are up 10 in the fourth quarter and your lead obliterates because you can't maintain offense and you can't get a stop to save your life. It's just ridiculous. It's like we get there and we can't finish. It's absolutely atrocious.
It looks like 2022, blown leads in the fourth quarter.
Bad. It's just quite literally bad. It's like this from top to bottom. Things need to be evaluated. Starting from Costa going to down because it's bad. It's really bad.
Let's start talking about it. Yeah, just nothing new. Just a loss you shouldn't take, honestly. For a team with Super Bowl aspirations, should not be losing to a rebuilding Raiders franchise with a
do we have Super Bowl
rookie second-year head coach Antonio Pierce. I mean, we like what he's doing down there, but there's just no excuse for some of the stuff that happened today. So yeah, let's just get started. Let's start with the defense. I think the defense, I mean, if you look at the first half and three quarters, so first three quarters, I would say they turned in a high C+, B-, even mid-B, like mid-B grade. I mean, they were holding it down in the first half, only allowing field goals, 6 points. I mean, they got a fourth down stop in the third quarter to give us ball back up 16-6 before that ball was tipped and intercepted to give them the ball back. So defense held it down for the most part, but then at the end, they just completely faltered. And that's something else we've been talking about. Well, actually not even, because they've done a good job of it, is playing complementary football. There was no complimentary football whatsoever in this game today. None. Okay? Defense held it down in the first half. Offense couldn't get anything going. They mustered 3 field goals. 3. 9 points. That is unacceptable against this defense. I'm sorry. And I don't know. But I said we're going to talk about defense first. So let's stay on topic for defense. Solid job. Shout out to Odafe Oweh, 2.5 sacks. Probably one of the best games of his career. Really, honestly. Because he was flying around in the backfield. Did a nice job. Got a sack on the first play of the game. Damn near forced a forced fumble on the first play. He might have forced a fumble, but they recovered it. I can't remember. But way to start the game with a bang for Oweh. Good stuff. Pass rush was not bad this game. Although it did sort of get tired out by the fourth quarter, and that was a mess. Secondary, Marlon Humphrey did come up with an interception, but did get torched a lot by Tay Adams. And a lot of people got torched by Tay Adams as well. Brandon Stevens flagged multiple times for pass interference, and just a catastrophic effort in the fourth to turn in a loss. I mean, you're up by 10 in the fourth quarter. Defense need to close the game. Now, while it's not all on them for blowing the 10-point lead, you need to make that ceiling play. I'm sorry. You just have to. And the tackling, again, started off pretty decent. Wasn't too many misses. Just absolutely broke down in the second half. And you can't do that against a Las Vegas team if you're considered a Super Bowl contender. I'm sorry. You can't. You can't. And as good as Brock Bowers was today, Minshew was able to buy time in the second half. Because he was kind of nervous in the pocket the first half, credit to the Ravens' pass rush, but non-existent at the end of the game, aside from one more sack from Oweh. So, I don't know, man. And I know Zachary Orr's new, and I'm not going to hit the panic button on him yet or, give him a grade about how he's doing. I said we're going to wait till about 6 games, but not a good ending to this defensive game. In a game where you started off pretty solid on defense. But what did you see?
What, before I go, what grade did you give them again?
Oh, a final grade. So I gave you, if they would have closed the game out, I would have given them a B or a B minus. But I'm going to give them I guess, a C minus, D plus, similar to last week, because they just couldn't close it out. They can't. You got to be able to close games out in this league, and they were unable to. So D plus. That
I'm glad you're giving them
fourth quarter meltdown was a D plus. Sorry, it was.
Well, I'm glad you're giving them a little bit of grace, because I ain't giving them nothing. I'm giving them a D minus to F, because the D stands for that team is ass, and then the F stands for that freaking team is ass. I don't want to hear nothing about the first half, okay? Because at this point, I'm tired of just giving them grace when they aren't closing out anything. It's getting bad. You can't, you come out and put on that kind of performance, and then you just fluster into the second half. That doesn't make sense. They didn't do anything that should have been mind-blowing. This defense needs to show up against good teams. We can't even show up against the mediocre teams. And then you're telling them, this is unacceptable. It is. From the penalties, we had 9 penalties for 104 yards. 9 penalties for 104 yards. That's inexcusable.
Compared to Las Vegas' 3 for 15.
That's inexcusable at this point. And I can point to the refs' agenda, but at the end of the day, bro, it's just we have to be able to battle back. And it's just we fluster. And I don't get it. I really don't. This defense showed up in the first half, and then they went on lunch, and then they never came back. When we have to hold this defense accountable for breaking down. Now, mind you, we're going to get on the offense too. We're just on defense right now. But literally, we have to hold this defense accountable.
Oh, for sure.
Because there's no way that you give up that 10-point lead to Gardner Minshew. You let Gardner Minshew come back to ball. He beat us last year with the Colts. He beat us, and then he comes into a new system with the freaking Raiders and beats us again. You telling me Gardner Minshew has your number? You're serious? Minshew? And it's not like he's a terrible quarterback, but, bro, you're serious with me right now. That Gardner Minshew can just come into your house and steal your cookies, steal your lunch money. Like, it's ridiculous. It really is. Like, there's no excuse to be made. It was a flat-out catastrophe. And I know we're holding – I'm not pressing the red button on Zach Orr yet. It's only been two games. But at this point right now, we have to start looking in the mirror and saying, what are we doing wrong? Because it's just not acceptable. This defense did not show up in the second half. And as much as I want to say, as much as I want to give them kudos for that first half, if you cannot close out games, you cannot get – that credit goes out the window if you cannot close out games.
They had a really nice opportunity to build on what they did in week one. Because in week one, Ravens were down 20-20, needed to lead on that defense to get the offense that ball back to go down and tie the game, and they did. They made the plays that they needed to at the end of the game, and they got Lamar Jackson the ball back, and then we all know what happens down the field, Isaiah likely out of bounds. When we needed them most this week, they weren't there, and they just kept giving up yardage over and over again, and you've got to fix that now. This is something we didn't really have to talk about that much last year because they did a better job at that. This is some 2022, 2021 bullshit that we have to uncork, dust it off, and bring back. Don't get in that habit of not finishing games again, because this definitely looks like the 2022 squad that blew the 10-point lead because their defense couldn't get one more stop. Unacceptable.
It's just not good. It's just really not good at this point because we can't come out like you can't come out and put on a dominant defensive performance like you do in a first half and then completely disappear in the second half. You gave up 200 plus yards of offense in the second half and blew a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. How many times are we going to do that before we look ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, we are the problem? We are the problem.
And how ironic is it because Oweh finally breaks out and has a great game, but then we have a disgusting game the rest of the way.
He had multiple sacks. Van Noy, multiple sacks. We were getting to the quarterback. We weren't having issues in that regard.
6 today. 6 sacks for the Ravens.
And then we're sitting here and we're giving up that many. Devontae Adams had a beautiful catch on the sideline, toe tap cheese on the sideline, catching it. Like, bro, we just could not catch a break. And then the pass interference call on Brandon Stevens in the end zone. First of all, both of them are hand fighting in the end zone, holding each other, and then they both break off from each other at the same time. You're going to call that, really? You're really going to call that?
I promise you they don't score there. They don't score there. If we get that stop break, they don't score it. No flag, they're not scoring. I promise you.
It's bad. Like, it's really bad. Like, why? I feel like we have been the most penalized team all year. Like, we've been getting flagged a lot, and it's only been 2 weeks. It's bad. It's really bad. I don't know what's going on, but this team defensively has to find an identity.
I have one more question for you before we talk about offense. We all heard the news and I touched on this in the pregame show about what's his name, Nate Wiggins being involved in yet another car accident. That makes it 3 for the Ravens. I don't know what it is about driving in Baltimore, but we got to drive carefully, put your hands on the steering wheel, and stop getting in car accidents. I mean, Jesus. What is this? Provisional license? Are we doing learner's permit tests? And I guess I know it's not people's fault. Maybe I'm just being a salty Ravens fan, but drive carefully. Because it really hurts our team.
At this point,
but that's not the question I wanted to ask.
If they pay me, I will drive them to the training facility. If they pay me, I will quite literally drive them myself. Because this is getting ridiculous.
Is Ravens miss Nate? Hello?
You're cutting in and out. I couldn't fully hear your question.
I know. I'm in the woods. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I was asking you, how much did we miss Nate Wiggins in the lineup today? Or did we miss him at all?
I felt like he was definitely missed. I mean, a great man-on-man corner definitely could have been used today. And I feel like going to AG's point, I mean, as Stevens and Adams one-on-one is a mismatch. No offense to Stevens, but I feel like with Wiggins out there, the matchups change. Maybe, I don't know. But why, like, I feel like Marlowe should be on Adams. Why we had Marlowe on freaking Myers, I don't know. Like, they were switching in and out with that, which was like, I didn't get that. But I don't understand why they had Stevens on Tay when Tay was cooking that whole second half. Like, I don't know, was Marlowe on Bowers? Like, I don't know what exactly we were doing, but we have Hamilton. Why is Hamilton not on Bowers? And even so, why is freaking Trenton Simpson not out there in pass coverage? We saw him in pass coverage. He can't cover Bowers. He's supposed to be fast enough to do that. Like, he was glorifying him all preseason about how good his pass coverage was. We couldn't put him on Bowers to try to get a stop.
Well,
like, I just don't
I
understand
wouldn't put
the matchup.
I would put a linebacker on Bowers. I don't know what we're thinking. I mean, this is a perfect opportunity to use Kyle Hamilton. Man coverage. I don't know, but the coaching again in this game was an F. I don't know what we were doing half the time, offensively, defensively, or special teams. But yeah, let me know when you're ready, and I'll go into offense.
I mean, my last point on the defense, the thing about this defense is we need to find an identity soon. We need to figure out how to get back to that stature we were last year. Because we didn't have, like, I'm not saying we had freaking all superstars all over the field, but dang it, we made it work. Like, I don't know what we're doing right now, but this is back-to-back games where we've given up 20-plus, and we just did not look good. So we need to figure out what we are doing, and we need to figure out how we're going to do it. Because right now, this will not win games. Our schedule, playing like this, the next 3 weeks are abysmal. So we need to figure it out right now, defensively. Zach Orr, get in the lab, get on Madden, figure out some defensive schemes. I don't know what you need to do, but you need to figure it out, man.
Guys, that was a joke. Please don't get on Madden. That game is ridiculously bad on defense. But please, I agree.
But to this point, like, you need to figure it out. You do. Because it's just not good. Like, we're going against top cores for the next couple of, minus the Bills. But we're going up against good teams for the next couple of weeks. We need to figure it out quickly. Defense, and get it together.
We'll see. I mean, we'll talk about the intangibles after we talk about offense. Offense. Here we go. Absolutely abysmal in the first half. We had one nice play on the first drive to Zay, but everything looked like it was out of sync. And once again, the offensive line looks in shambles. First thing, before I continue my rant, the Raiders, defensive line. Christian Wilkins, solid. But who is the damn guy you need to be ready for? Max Crosby. Okay? I don't understand how you just let one guy wreck the game. I mean, looking like the Pittsburgh Steelers, how they use TJ Watt. How do you had 10 days to scheme, and you just let this one dude wreck the game completely almost? I mean, it's just unacceptable. He's flying in the backfield, making tackles, getting sacks. I mean, you couldn't come up with a better scheme against him? Really? Like, you're going to just let one man? Like, I'm sorry. And I know a lot of Raiders fans. I was talking to Raiders fans leaving the game today. Yes, by the way, I was at the game. Saying how good their defense is. Bro, it's not. I'm sorry. It's not good. I mean, Crosby is a beast. I get it. But how do you not scheme to stop him? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Pat McCarry absolutely got his butt kicked today. It was not pretty. Last week it was Rosengarten in the doghouse. This week it was Pat McCarry. And that should be a reminder to us fans why he's a backup and not a starter. Okay? He got manhandled. It was not pretty. Okay? Lamar, this one is not – I don't feel like this one was as much on Lamar as it was the coaching staff and the O-line and the play calling. It just – this was abysmal. Where do I start? Running game. Zero holes in the first half. Zero. None. Okay? Come out at halftime, they drive down and score. So I was like, okay, maybe they made some halftime adjustments. We're going to see a lot of Derrick Henry. He had a little mini beastquake run on that third quarter drive to get us a touchdown. Stiff arming people doing his signature move. So we're like, okay, cool. Where was that in the first half? And where was that in the fourth quarter? I don't know. Play calling sucked. Every time you saw Henry trot on the field, it was a handoff. Then they say, all right, see you, Henry. Come on, Justice. Pass. I was calling the plays out in my freaking seat. Okay? That is ridiculous. I shouldn't do that. I'm not the coordinator. I'm not monking. But every time in the second half, when they brought Henry on the field, handoff, run, inside zone, or single back, whatever, quarterback under center, run. Get creative. Throw them off. You shouldn't be able to let fans predict what you're doing. That's incredible. Run with Justice Hill. Pass with Henry. Mix it up. Because otherwise you're just tipping your cap and letting them guess your plays for you. Because if I can guess what you're running, then I'm sure as hell an NFL defense can catch what you're running too. So that's just ridiculous. Terrible. Lamar, take some ownership, audible the line of scrimmage. Just awful. Awful, awful, awful. And then they have a chance to seal the game down 27-20, or sorry, up 27-20, 3 and out. Raiders go down, get the pass interference, tie the game up at 23. Ravens offense, go down and win the game. Sack, incomplete, 5-yard gain, punt. I mean, that's pathetic. Like, what are we doing? What are you doing? But oh my God, I was so disgusted with the offense in the fourth quarter. Just absolutely terrible. Terrible. What do you think?
There needs to be a move made or something done to fix this offensive line or to straighten us out, or we need to maintain these rotations because it's just inexcusable how bad the pressure was that we weren't able to contain. I mean, Max Crosby is a generational talent. Let's not get it twisted. But at the end of the day, there's no way you spent these past 10 days after losing to the Chiefs, after seeing what Chris Jones was doing to you guys week 1. There's no way you waited 10 days and not have a scheme in place where you were blocking him, where he wasn't the main guy on your radar. There's no way. It's unacceptable how he was able to just get through. I swear to goodness, he looked like a 7-Eleven out there because he was always open to get to Lamar. It's ridiculous. He was hitting spin moves, swing moves. He was hitting stuff I didn't even know was real. And
just coming in,
he was unblocked.
Just coming in free. Coming in free as well.
Unblocked on some plays. Like, it's bad. And Macari, he just looks like a deer in headlights, like a traffic cone, because he's just getting swimmed over by him. And then you put Rosengarten in. Rosengarten looks decent, but then you keep rotating him out. Like, what is the point of rotating Macari and Rosengarten in and out if we're trying to win the game? Why? Just keep the one guy in who's doing a decent job. Why was Ricard not in there for more of the game to try to get some more blocking help when we're obviously struggling? It's just mind-boggling. Like, I'm literally, you know what? I'm going to go on Indeed, and I'm going to fill out an application to be the Ravens head coach. Because obviously I know how to coach a team better than our coach. It's ridiculous. Like, why are we putting Lamar through so much stress? Why are we not trying to help him? It's ridiculous. Like, this offensive line really needs to look themselves in the eye and be like, damn, maybe I'm ass. Like, it's quite literally. Because McCarr was getting cooked. Falele, I swear to goodness, don't even suit up next weekend. Don't even suit up. Don't even put on the uniform. Okay, just go home, take a weekend off, because you got cooked too. It's ridiculous. Like, this offensive line on the right side looks soft. And I want you to, like, people need to understand, we, in our division alone, we go against some of the top pass rushers in the league. TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got Myles Garrett with the Cleveland Browns. Trey Hendrickson with the Bengals. Like, it doesn't, like, we go against these guys twice a year. Like, it's not going to get any easier. And mind you, we have to face the Eagles, right? We have to face the Buffalo Bills, the Dallas Cowboys with Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Like, none of this gets any easier protecting. So you need to figure out something because this is not good. And then, again, with Lamar, it's like you said, everything looked off kilter. Like, nothing was, like, on script. It's like everything had to be, like, finessed or freaked in a way.
No rhythm
It was
whatsoever.
nothing out there that looked good. All the big plays were just off of Lamar trying to make something happen. Like, is it just, like, and this goes back to my point from last week. Is it the play calling or the routes just getting bagged? Like, it's my question to it, like, are we just not scheming correctly? This is my question, because at the end of the day, it just feels like every time there is a big play, it's never a scripted play. It's like an off-script play that Lamar has to pull out of his ass. Like, it's bad. And today, I felt like he didn't even use his legs as much as he did last week against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Which he should not have to. He shouldn't have to.
I agree with that point, too. I agree with that point.
Or else he ain't going to make it a whole year.
I see what you're saying. I agree. But it's like, and I agree with your point on the play calling. Monken is calling his plays off a Denny's menu. I don't know what he's doing with that.
Denny's.
And then freaking we can't even, like, get Derek open lanes because he's getting crushed as soon as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Like, I don't understand what is going on with the blocking for him, but we can't block for nothing. Like you said, in that first half, he had 7 carries for damn near 5 yards. He started off the game with negative yards. Man, I don't even know what we're going to, like, I don't know what Monken is cooking, but I can tell you right now, it's not a 5-star meal. It's not good. This offense, it's not moving the way we should be moving. Like, it's not moving how we did last year. And it's just making me question what, like, was the offseason work? Like, is this a result of the offseason work? Like, is this really what we have come to at this point? Like, what have we been working on?
Came up with a clear plan on how to use it. It's like he's inserted in, and the Ravens don't know what to do. I mean, they're just so – it's like they're forcing him the ball. Like, oh, okay, well, this play we have to get King Henry the ball. So let's get him in. Let's give him his handoff. All right, then let's get him off the field again. Why don't you insert him? Why don't you scheme around King Henry? I mean, that's when he's at his best. When he's on the field a lot, the other team doesn't know when we're going to use him. I mean, if you're just going to bring him on in the field and kick him off after a play, I mean, what's the point? I mean, like I said, the Raiders, they knew when we were going to hand it off in the fourth quarter because we would bring him on for a play, then kick him off. I just don't understand what we are thinking when it comes to our offense. Monken needs to sit down and find an identity for this squad because we don't have one right now at all. Because I don't know what the hell they're doing. Do you want to run the ball? Do you want to pass the ball? I mean, what are we doing here? It looks like you're kind of just picking plays out of a Madden playbook and hoping they work. Are you planning to attack these defenses, or are you just picking plays? I don't know what Monken's doing. I mean, he had a really strong year last year, and now it's like you go out and get Henry, and they don't know what to do. It's like they're forcing play calls just because we have him on the team. And that should not be the case. He should be a scheme builder, not somebody that you should force to be used. I mean, use him to your advantage. They look like they are just like, oh, rolling their eyes. Well, we got this guy. We got to throw him in because we have to use him. We paid a lot of money for him, so we got to get our money's worth, right? No, use him to your advantage. Scheme. Like, what are we doing? It's so bad.
That's the thing. We don't know. We don't know what we're doing.
And that's what Monken's got to figure out.
And us not knowing what we're doing has gotten us to 0-2. And I'm going to tell you something right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 2-0. The Cleveland Browns are 1-2. Bengals fall to the Chiefs. They are 0-2, along with us. So at this point right now, if we do not go on a generational run starting this week, we are cooked. Because people need to understand, the AFC is the most competitive conference. Most divisions in their own will make their own playoff spots. So basically right now, there's only so many games we can drop before we are out of playoff contention. So if we do not go on a generational run, starting against the Cowboys, we're cooked. We are a grill on the 4th of July. Okay, so they need to figure it out right now. Because I'm not going to lie, going on Twitter today after the game, I saw people calling for Harbaugh's job. I saw people calling for Monken. I saw people questioning DeCosta. The fans are not on your side right now. They are tired. We are tired of the inconsistency. We're tired of the lack of heart in the second half of games. We're tired. This team needs to get it together if you want to compete for a Super Bowl. No one is going to take you seriously if you don't get it together. Because right now, the Chiefs are looking like they're going to three-peat. And I swear to goodness, if the Chiefs three-peat, I'm not going to lie, I'm blowing up the NFL. Because we just can't allow it to happen. I'm sorry. It's getting ridiculous. So this team needs to wake the hell up and figure out who they want to be. Because right now, they don't have an identity. And right now, they don't look like a contending team.
On either side of the ball, they need an identity. And the penalties, they have got to discipline themselves. These penalties are killing us. Absolutely killing us. Offensively and defensively. Derrick Henry flagged twice for false starts. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's not something that should not be happening. Twice in a game, twice in the second half. When we're trying to get big first downs. 3rd and 5. Raiders jump off sides. We get 5 yards. It's 3rd and inches. Then we call QB sneaks with Charlie Kolar, Lamar in the backfield, Henry to the right of the tight end. The tight end, ladies and gentlemen, not even our starting, Charlie Kolar. That's our play call on 3rd and inches. And what happens? Henry moves, false start, and we're back 5 yards there we started. I mean, just unbelievable. Unreal. They basically said, here you go, Baltimore. Here's a first down. Y'all can have it. Take the first down, choose some more clock. And we F it up. We F it up yet again. The Ravens are outsmarting themselves on offense and defense with some of these crazy tactics. I mean, what are we doing?
I
don't get it.
All I know is I can't just keep giving this team grace after one good half of football. I mean, it has to get to the point now where we have to start looking at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, one, this Ravens team, to put it bluntly, is not a contender right now. Not the way that we're looking, not the way that this team has looked offensively, defensively, special teams. We are not a contender. I can't sit here in this seat right now and tell you that the Baltimore Ravens are currently a Super Bowl contender. We are not. We aren't playing like it. We don't show it. And we're not exhibiting any factors of a Super Bowl contending team. At the end of the day, this team needs to figure out who they are and who they want to be. Because right now, we can't establish offense consistently, and defense is fighting for their lives against teams that we shouldn't even be losing to. Quite literally, at this point right now, Lamar just looks frustrated every time he goes to the sidelines. Like, every time the camera pointed at him when he was going to the sidelines, he just looked like he wanted to crash out. Like, it's bad. It's quite literally bad. And then freaking there's just no way you can sit here with a clear face and say the Baltimore Ravens can contend for a championship if they can't stop teams that are led by Gardner Minshew. You let Gardner Minshew come into your house and beat you twice. Like, it's just, like, bro, it's just to the point right now where we have to start, like, this loss today is an and like I mentioned earlier in the game, in the show, this was an organizational failure from top to bottom. DaCosta, this is on you. This is on DaCosta too, okay? Because you saw this offensive line. You saw it. You saw it in training camp. You saw it in preseason. You saw it in week 1. You saw it. And what did you do? You didn't do jack shit with it. Okay? I'm tired. I'm just like, we bargain binning every time. I'm tired of being in the bargain bin. This team cannot be the same team by the trade deadline. I'm telling you this right now. If this is the same team after the trade deadline, I'm going to have an issue, and I'm quite literally, just like I am now, I'm going to crash out.
Let's I just want to say something real quick. Take a look at our live chat, please. We have 7 people in here, which is probably our
I didn't even notice because I was
and I just think that
out.
These guys, our chat are sick freaks. You know why? Because they're feasting on our pain right now, and they want to see us crash out. And well, I hope you enjoy it because we're kind of crashing out.
We have the same record as the New York Giants and the Carolina Panthers.
This was a game we were not supposed to lose. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Cowboys next week. And that is a toss-up. They could I don't know. Cowboys got murdered today by New Orleans, so I don't know what kind of team they are either, but they have a dub on their record. Then we got the Bills, playoff squad from last year. Allen's a dynamic playmaker, and all of a sudden they've got a resurgent run game looking good with James Cook. Then we've got those kitty cats who are, always going to be a tough game because it's AFC North. We are staring potentially at 1-4, 0-5 if we don't get our crap together. And man, if we start 0-5, you can kiss that Super Bowl and playoffs goodbye. You have got to get yourself out of this rut right now. Micah Parsons.
Like I said, if this team cannot block, if this team does not scheme if this team does not scheme for Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence next week, and Lamar is out there running for his life again, I swear to goodness, I'm calling for everyone's head. And I'm so serious right now because there is no way we're going to sit here next week and have the same conversation that we are having right now. So I don't know who offensive line, offensive coordinator, I don't know. Y'all better scheme to either get the ball out of Lamar's hands quick or find a way to get Derrick Henry going because there is no Alvin Kamara was feasting today. He had 4 touchdowns today. So y'all better figure it the hell out because if we are back here next week having the same conversation, I swear to goodness, I'm going down to M&T Bank Stadium. I'm going to Owings Mills, and I'm going to start yelling at everybody. I'm probably going to get arrested, so you guys won't hear from me for a couple of months. But at the end of the day, I'm quite literally going to crash out on this entire team because this is just quite literally ridiculous. Y'all better scheme right now. Start tonight. After today, start tonight. Figuring out what we're going to do against those Cowboys. Because if we go,
I don't know.
Because if we lose these next couple of games, if we lose these next couple of games and we cannot figure out how to get it together, we are screwed. Plain and simple.
No, I don't know. And blocking Micah Parsons and Lawrence, like you said, is only half the puzzle. Then we got to stop their offense, which could break out at any point. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is a dynamic receiver. Prescott, if he gets going, he's effective in the regular season. And Turbin is a take the top off the defense type of person in both returns and offense. So I don't know. I really this is a gut check time for this team, big time, next week at 4:25. Because honestly, if you start 0-3, I don't know how you come back from that. I don't.
That's why I say Y'all better start a generational run right now. Starting right now. Start a generational run and start winning some damn games. Because if you don't start winning games, playoffs are out the window because we're getting cooked out here. We're going to watch the Steelers go to the playoffs on one touch. They've scored one touchdown in 2 games and are 2-0.
Right. And it's like their formula is to just feast on other teams' mistakes. And that's pretty much what we do. We are the ones who make mistakes. So I don't, the Steelers are slopping their way through a first place after week 2, but we'll see what happens by November. I don't think they will. I think Bo Nix is a rookie. Well, let's talk about that for a second. AFC North. Browns, Jags, that was a tight game. Browns come away with the win, 18-10, correct?
I believe so.
And Bengals, I did watch the end of that Bengals game. Oh, man, controversial calls at the end. Penalties on the Chiefs to extend their drive at the end to give them a field goal. Take a loss, 26-25, fall to 0-2, thank goodness. And the Steelers go in 13-6 against the Broncos. But we can't say, oh, well, they play baby teams. We just played the Raiders and lost. So the AFC North is not over yet because I don't feel like any of us have looked good yet. Because, again, the Browns only scored 18 points. So it's still there, but you need to wake up now. Because if you don't, it's going to be a long football season, ladies and gentlemen.
John Harbaugh, I want you to look me dead in my eyes right now because I'm being so serious at this one moment in time. If we lose these next couple of games, I swear to goodness, I am TPing your house and I'm going to graffiti our record at that time because
0-3.
we just can't have that. Okay? I've had faith in you for a long time. I have called for you not to lose your job because I've had faith in you. I love your faith in Lamar. I love your faith in the team. I love your faith in the organization. But right now, you are getting out-coached. Plain and simple. You are getting out-coached. You're getting outmaneuvered and you're getting outplayed. At this point right now, you also have to look yourself in the mirror and figure out what you need this team to be in order to start winning games again. Because this game today, again, is unacceptable to lose. It is. Point blank, period. We should not have lost this game. So, Harbaugh, please, you hold the challenge flags. Hold the challenge flags.
Oh, that was awful.
Please.
Awful.
Because I swear to goodness, my grandma could see the fact that those challenge flags weren't needed for both of the times that you threw them. Please.
Was the Flowers one out of bounds? I thought that could have been a catch. Was it not?
What Flowers one?
One where he challenged Zay Flowers being incomplete on third down.
It wasn't out of.
It was like a diving catch.
It was a diving. He tried to catch it, but the ball hit the ground before he could maintain. Yeah, it hit the ground. So he didn't really get the possession. It looked like a catch at first, but when you see the replay, you saw the ball hit the ground. So he didn't maintain possession.
Maybe I had a little bit too much beer because I really didn't see that one. But I know the one you're talking about with the Tay Adams one, awful. Absolutely
and
awful.
Even in real time, I saw that Tay Adams was inbound and had both feet tippy toe tap cheese on the sideline. I can see that. So at this point, Harbaugh, please just reevaluate the situation and just figure out how this team can get back to winning games again. Because again, you're getting out coached. It's as plain as day. Okay, please. This coaching staff needs to all sit down and figure out how to get this team back into contention because it's getting ridiculous. Like you said, the play calling is obvious. The defense is breaking down. Special teams doesn't look good right now. So what do we need to do to fix the holes on this team? Coaching staff, figure it out. Like, damn, we're telling you the issues. You're going to pay up, pay me. I can tell you what the issues are right now. At this point, the team just doesn't look good, and we're not contending right now. And I swear to goodness, if we don't even try to make a playoff run, we are quite literally wasting Lamar Jackson's prime years being mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that for him. I hate that for us because we have studs on this team that just aren't being utilized correctly, i.e., Rashad Bateman being one of them. So at some point, we need to figure it out, and we need to figure out how the hell we're going to win games because this schedule isn't easy. Ravens are 1-point favorites against Dallas next week. Why? Great question. Why are we 1-point favorites? We're ass. So why are we 1-point favorites against the Dallas Cowboys? Because they got blown out? Unfreaking believable. Oh my gosh, bro. Y'all better win next week. I'm not even playing.
Well,
Y'all better win next week.
Shout out to Aaron for joining us. Thank you. I appreciate the comment. But yes, I don't know, man. This was a game. This was your get right game. This was literally supposed to be your get right game to get back on track.
The bounce back game
before your gauntlet of games. The next 4 are going to be difficult. So I don't know what we're doing. It was really tough to watch. It really was. Watching us squander away in the fourth quarter, that was probably some of the most frustrating football I've seen. Probably not as frustrating as that Steelers game, but pretty damn close. Especially, how do you get sacked on the final drive? How do you let Max Crosby come in again and derail your final drive to go win the game? I just, once that happened, once I saw Lamar get sacked on first down, I knew this drive was chalked. I knew it.
Listen, man, I don't know what we need to do. I don't know how we figure it out, but this team needs to figure it out right now because this
was supposed to be
unacceptable.
A party in Baltimore. This was supposed to be a blowout. Everybody was excited. This was supposed to be a 40-point game, a 3-touchdown game for Henry, who had a decent stat game, by the way, 18 for 84, 2 scores. Could have had more if we blocked a little bit better in the first half. But I'm so frustrated.
You need to figure it out, man. You need to figure it out right now. There's got to be something. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I really don't. Because it's like I want to come up with an excuse, but there's no excuse to lose that game. There's quite literally no excuse. You need to figure it out. You need to get it together, and you need to win next week. Because if you don't win next week, I swear to goodness, we are in hell. If you don't win next week.
I completely agree. And before we get up on out of here, there's one more thing I want to talk about. Special teams. I'm officially concerned about Justin Tucker being washed. I mean, he's literally becoming Matt Stover Jr. I mean, everything under 50 yards, money. Anything over, wide left. Can't make a field goal for his life. And you come in here, and for the second straight week, you've got kickers out-kicking you. I mean, Daniel Carlson just came in and just showed you came into your home turf and just absolutely showed you who the better kicker is. Because right now, I can name at least 2. Daniel Carlson, Chris Boswell. Tucker, you need to get your shit together. I'm just going to say it. Get your shit together. Go practice your field goals. And stop using a tee. Use the holder. Because it's obviously not working. And it's absolutely killing us. That was the difference in the game today. They lost by 3. If Tucker nails that one, we might not be talking about that, talking like this today. You never know. Why? All of a sudden, can this guy? I'm hitting the panic button on Tucker. I am. I really am. Because I don't trust him. I can't depend on him. I can't. Unless it's a 30-yard field goal. What do you think about that? Tucker is not the guy anymore.
I mean,
the days of 57-yard field goals are behind us.
I don't know what's going on with Tucker. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what the concern is. It's hard for me to lack faith in him because of how much he's been there in the past. I mean, we've leaned on him for pretty much damn near his whole career, and it's hard to and I know I'm sounding like a hypocrite right now because I didn't give the team grades for today, but it's like I don't know what's going on from the 50-plus yarders. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what the dilemma is in that regard to Tucker, but I feel like in practice he needs to start, like you said, maybe just going over more in-game scenarios or something, because it just seems like he's off. And I don't know why he's so off. Like, usually when he's out there, it just feels like, oh, okay, we're guaranteed 3. But nowadays, it's just like, dude, I don't even know if we're going to get this. And it's a little bit
Right.
concerning because it's like, I call him Legatron. Like, I literally consider him Legatron. He has kicked the longest field goal in NFL history. So I feel like I know Ravens fans want to hit the panic button on Tucker right now, but I don't know. I feel like he still has time to get it together.
So I completely, respectfully, Dom, I disagree with you on this one. I agree with you on everything you said, but I'm tired of giving him excuses. I mean, I started saying this at the end of 2022. Okay? Last year, he missed so many kicks. I'm sorry. I mean, the Chargers game, wide left at the end. Remember that one? That slugfest on Sunday night where we barely got away with it? And just the Colts game, he was short. I mean, it's just, there's so many signs pointing to just being a little bit washed. And then that's not discrediting him with about anything he's done, because he's done a lot of great things for the city and the team, and we love him. But it's not. It's the way, and I'm not saying, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying get rid of Tucker in any way. I'm saying we need to rethink how we want to use him and whether we want to put him on the field. So if it's like 3rd and 10 from the 45-yard line, I would not run it and let him bring Tucker out there, because I don't think he's going to make it. I would do your best to get that first down, or else punt it away, because I can't trust him under pressure anymore for these 50-yarders. I can't. I've seen enough. Get this. Dating back to last year, 1 for 6 in 50-yard field goals, or 50-plus yard field goals. 1 of 6. Do the math. 1 for 6. That is no good. And we need to rethink our scheme. And while we're on special teams, and I'll let you respond in a second, Jordan Stout, what are these nasty punts with the game on the line? I mean, why are we shanking stuff? I mean, bro, what? What? Like, just everything about this team is bad right now. It is. Offense, defense, special teams. This dude shanks it off the side of his foot, and then we get penalized, and the Raiders are starting at our 45-yard line with 1 minute to go in the game, or 2 minutes left in the game. I thought Harbaugh was a special teams genius. What are we doing? Like, I know I feel like this special teams unit is like, oh, we're a top 3 unit every year. We're good. We'll be fine. You're not good. Practice more. I mean, what was that at the end of the game? I know you saw it. I mean, Tucker's missing field goals. Jordan Stout's shanking stuff off the side of his foot with the game on the line. I mean, what are we doing? Respectfully, what are we doing? It's bad, Dom. It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I understand completely, but I kind of see what the chat is saying at this point. I feel like a lot of it right now, I feel like with Tucker, I think I know he's frustrated with himself as well, so I think it's just going to come to that point now where he's like we talked about, getting him into more in-game scenarios rather than him practicing on the tee, and just just going at it from there. Because at this point, if we can't, I do agree also with the point that, we can't rely always on the 50-yarders, but at some point, I mean, the 50-yarders are going to happen. Like, it's just the way of the game. It's the name of the game. Like, sometimes we're not going to be able to move the ball up the field. And you saw Carlson, he made like 5 field goals today, 4 or 5, varying from 40 to 50 yards. I mean, like, it has to be to that point where we can rely on him again, because, I mean, but at the same time, I feel as though he will bounce back. We just have to, I mean, he just has to find it within himself to get out of the slump he's in, because it's bad. Going to your Jordan Stout point, yeah, Jordan, what the fuck was that? Because you're over here kicking to, I don't know where he's kicking. Like, I probably could have punted better than that. And then, first of all, you get, not only was the punt bad, we get a flag that gets them damn near to the 50 for them to be able to ice the game.
Over the
So
50.
at this
It was
point,
on the 45.
So at this point, like, I don't know what is going on with this team. It's like there's like some bad mojo in each phase of the ball. Like Lamar in the press conference after the game, Lamar was like, I don't know, man. We just gotta get our mojo back because this ain't us. Well, who are you? Who is this team? Because we don't know. And then like Harbaugh's like, oh, we're gonna let the next 15 games define us. Well, Harbaugh, guess what? The first 2 games were ass. So I hope this next 15 games are fucking fantastic. Because if we're ass for these next couple of games, that's how we're gonna be defined as ass. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then the worst thing is about today is that freaking Patrick Mahomes played like hot cross buns today. Sorry, Chiefs fans, it's the truth. He played like ass. But then they're gonna glaze him tomorrow. It's like, oh my God, Mahomes did it again. He got him a win. Like, bro, it's so annoying. It is. Like, oh my God. Like, it's like we're giving the sports people like just ammo to shit on us. It is absolutely ridiculous. Like, the team needs to get out of the funk. They do. Fast. In a hurry, quick. Because if not, we're gonna be 0-4. 0-5. Like, Jesus Christ. This is just ridiculous.
It's gut check time.
I did not want to have to come on this stream and talk about, like, I don't want to have this to be the topic of conversation. We should be talking about how the Ravens get a win at home after celebrating Jacoby Jones and Coach Joe D, RIP, by the way, and freaking we're sitting here talking about why the team is ass. It's inexcusable.
We gotta figure out is it an execution thing? Is it a play call thing?
It's all the above.
I don't know. That's the thing. We gotta narrow it down. You've got to literally take a look in the mirror, watch these past 2 games, and look at what went wrong, and find a way to fix it now. Like
that's the problem, though.
Starting tonight. Honestly, you should be looking at film tonight if you're a coach. You should be looking at today's film right now, not going to bed, going to work early in the morning tomorrow, no days off, everybody's in the building tomorrow, trying to figure out what's going on. Because this is bad for a team with Super Bowl aspirations. 1 game away from the bowl last year, trying to get over that hump this year, absolutely horrific start. But I don't know, man. But let's go ahead and wrap on up. Dom, I know we I don't know what else to say at this point. It's just we've been spoiled as Ravens fans, and I really am hoping that it's not one of those type of years, where it's a bad year. But, you've got to consider the O-line sucks, and you're hoping they get it together, but not too late, because you don't want this to be a lost season. It's not a lost season yet, but it's sure treading down that path, and they're treading on dangerous waters right now, very dangerous waters. And they need to get that boat turned around fast because it's looking really gross. But anyway, lots of crazy games today. The Niners got upset by the Vikings. Unbelievable. Sam Darnold, the Vikings do it again. Do they have their number? Potentially, because they beat them last year too. CMC on injured reserve. I mean, they're a different team without him either way. Also, they're like the TJ Watt of the Steelers.
Kittle got hurt too.
Kittle's hurt. Oh, man. Yikes. Patriots losing overtime to the Seahawks. Rams get demolished by the Cardinals, who look all of a sudden pretty decent. I mean, they barely lost last week. Tua Tagovailoa, prayers up for him for the concussions and everything. Commanders get a win today. Nasty game against the Giants, 21-18. I think it was all field goals, was it not? I don't know. I have to watch the highlights. Yeah. We already talked about the Saints. And a couple other games I'm missing. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. We had a lot of active viewers tonight leaving comments. We appreciate that. I know you're feasting on our pain, and it's awesome for you guys. But we still appreciate you for coming through and rocking with us, even if it's entertaining our crash outs. Because I know Dom and I are crashing out a little bit. Probably Dom a little bit more than me, but that's okay. I will be in attendance in next week's game. I'm supposed to fly out to Dallas, and I thought that was going to be a fun game, and then now all of a sudden it feels like the season's on the line. So it's like, I'll be there to root for you, but please give me something to cheer for. Please. But anyway, thanks again for rocking with us. This will be on YouTube very shortly. I can probably post that up in a second, Dom, if you get this on Instagram. So please leave a like and a subscription. Leave us comments. DM us on Instagram. Send us we'll leave our email in the description as well. If you have any questions, did your team win today? Hopefully they did, because football is not fun to watch right now if you're a Ravens fan. But yeah. Once again, we appreciate you rocking with us. We're gonna go up and get on out of here now. Dom, any last comments before we say goodbye to the people?
They better win next week, man. That's all I'm saying. They better win next week.
They better
win next week.
I really don't want to come on this show and talk about 0-3 because we all know what happened last time we started 0-3, and it wasn't a pretty season. So let's go to 1-2, please. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you guys later this week for the Cowboys-Ravens pregame show. But as of tonight, this is Dom and Gonz signing out, and I'm about to go disappear, just like the Ravens did on the field today in the fourth quarter. Go Ravens.